Hi, Hatiras. It's me. We met at the club last weekend. Remember? You were so good. You worked the crowd really well. I love it when you play it so hard. Anyway, I can't wait to see you again. We should hook up, so call me. Please?
End of message. Message erased.
Yeah, yeah! Hatiras! Diane! The Space Invader! I'm murder! Yeah, yeah!
Electronic. Love. Free.
Born in Toronto, Canada. Lived here most of my life until I was about 10 years old, and then family reasons came up and we moved to South Africa for 2 years. Real interesting experience though, because I got to see a whole new culture, way of life, way of thinking, and it really opened my mind to a lot of things. It was a good experience. Following that, I traveled through Europe for a few months with my family, Switzerland, Greece, ended back up in Toronto, and I've been here ever since, and I'm proudly Canadian, I guess. Growing up as a child, I was surrounded by a family that in one way was quite musical. My father was always really into classical opera type singing, and he's a trained, I guess, pro, and he would tinker on a little guitar as well, but he really would at any time blare out Pavarotti style singing, and it did definitely at least teach me something about pitch and basic musicality. And beyond that, I was influenced by my sister as well, who was heavily into early electronic music and was feeding me that stuff as a child. Growing up, I recall being forced to learn to play a little bit of piano as a kid, and I remember not really liking it that much. I remember really wanting to get a synthesizer instead, but them being really expensive pieces of equipment at the time. In junior high, I also was in the band for a year or two playing elementary saxophone. My first experience into DJ culture was as a child. I remember living in a neighborhood where there was a crew of older guys that hung out near me that would skateboard around and lug around their milk crates with vinyl. They'd play early freestyle, electro, early house, and they were the cool guys in the neighborhood, so they influenced me to discover that music a little bit more, as well as getting mixtapes from them and from my sister, and hearing certain one-off radio shows that were really rare and hard to find. That influenced me musically for real. First experience mixing, I just recall, because a lot of my friends were DJs, so I would play with their records. A lot of it was classic house or, really early electronic music, and it wasn't until later on that I started buying my own vinyl collection. I bought a lot of stuff on Relief Records, stuff that Kashmir, DJ Sneak would make, really Chicago-influenced stuff. Percussive, funky, drummy, easy to mix, good to learn on, and I still have the collection lying around somewhere, so maybe I'll bust it out one day and play some old stuff. It's hard to pinpoint what was specifically my first performance or audience or how I got into it. There wasn't really one kind of moment. It actually developed and brewed over years. It started as a concession stand at raves back in '93 selling blended smart drinks, and from there it developed into becoming a promoter, and from there I tinkered as a drum and bass MC for a few years and would lurk out in the shadows and announce which DJ was playing and what was happening, and that gradually led to me playing on the decks and becoming a DJ. And I walk into an event and I'm pretty humble and approachable. I chat people up. If people come and want to say something nice, I accept it. That's cool. I'm not in any way walking in with an attitude or expectations. I just want to come in, have a good time like everyone else, play my music and take it from there. And it's pretty funny though. Sometimes I do notice that I'll walk in and certain people won't in any way pay attention, but as soon as I drop a great set, there's a new kind of connection and friendship that's developed there, and it's quite cool, and it only really happens in this kind of scene, really. More than ever, it's very important. In order to be recognized as an artist, it's quite important. If you want to go global and create a bit of a name, that you do create your own art in some way. Now, as a DJ, if that's the fact that you're creating music and playing your music, or maybe you're a performance artist, so radical that you're creating some noise. It's important that you separate yourself from the pack in order to create a career out of this, because it is hard, it is challenging. And for me, one of my strengths is the fact that I do produce a lot of music and I do showcase a lot of new stuff every time I play. But what works for me may not work for everyone else. It's very individual. I really find that, especially in places like North America, you don't get a lot of mainstream support about this culture, electronic music, house music, whatever it may be. Because of that, you have a really, like a grassroots following, which is really authentic and raw, and which really is real. It's people liking a certain kind of music and connecting with other people on the internet, spreading their vibe about it, and that whole thing does make this very much a global, tribal community for sure. And electronic music, house music in particular, has always been about unity, a good vibe, no pretentiousness, and really positive message and energy. And I find that that's really what defines this type of music over other genres. I would say the main message to people out there is really open your mind. Don't be ignorant about electronic music or even folk music, whatever it is. All of it has its value, its place, its relevance, and whether or not something's being shoved down your throat, it doesn't mean it is or isn't good. Get a brain, find out what you like, do some research. The world's a different place now. You can look up things on the net, find what you like, pursue it, do some research, and you'll see that a whole new world will open up to you. The bottom line, open your mind and discover what's out there to find.